break?
Yeah, I'll be right back.
Hang on a second.
You can keep going. I'll just be right back.
Okay, Article 3, call-out pay, there were no changes, so we reached agreement on that.
Is there a reason we need to go through every single one of these? I mean,
Well,
the
we've
document
got-
speaks for itself, you know, as far as what we did.
Well, could I read it with your chart as to what your position is that you think they're TA? Has anything changed on, your chart was a handout on October the 25th, it's dated September the 1st. So will you just tell me if there's anything different on here?
Well, as far as if the proposals have changed since then, I don't know if they have or not, because you guys seem to be coming up with new stuff every time we get together. So as of September 1st, that's what our
Well, so let me just run through it then, all right? So Article 4, we had a change in paragraph A, referring to the civil service manuals amended from time to time.
we disagree with that.
Okay, so there's no agreement on 4. There was agreement on 5, comp time.
Correct.
On 6, you don't show it as a TA. And you originally had an offer on it, so that's open, right?
Yeah, I mean, the last time we were together, if you recall, we had proposed a package deal. That package deal wasn't accepted, so then we would revert back to what our statuses were as of September 1. So anything that's in the CDA that has no changes to it from the current language, we're willing to agree to, as indicated.
All right, so maybe I misread what your email intended to say. I thought that when we were done today, wherever we end up, that's the contract you're going to submit for ratification.
Well, that's our thought process, yeah. You know, and I might be getting a little ahead of ourselves, but I don't know what, you know, I just wanted to further, you know, state our positions on the language that was open, that some of which was just brand new to us the last time we got together on, I think it was 11:30. No, it was 12, I think it was 11:30, November 30th. And so these items in the email were addressing, you know, some of those new positions that the county has taken as which ones the union could accept and which ones we weren't willing to accept. At the end of the day, our goal is probably to just find out where we are, where the county is in terms of what's the best deal you can present to this committee.
I can tell you that each page that we're handing you today in the new set that I just handed out is a document. We're prepared to TA on each page of that. Okay? So I'm trying to identify where you're not, so I know what issues are open, what articles are open. And so far, it's 2, 4, and 6. Seven, we have reached an agreement on, right?
No changes, correct.
Same with 8, demotion.
That was correct.
No changes, correct.
Right.
There were changes to 9, and you addressed that in your December 18th. And it's also listed as open on your September 1, as of September 1. Drug-free workplace 10. You rejected that. That's shown as rejected on your chart, but not addressed in your email.
Well, it wasn't, the ones that are addressed in the email reflect the proposal you gave us on 11:30, and you put this little asterisk or star, whatever you want to call it, next to certain, which you characterize as must-haves. So these items in the email were responding to your must-haves.
All right, but 10 still remains open. Because you're not agreeing to 10E. Right?
Our proposal is just leave the language as it is.
Okay. Article 11, duration, 3-year agreement with reopeners for wages.
We're okay with that. As indicated in the,
We have agreement on 12 since there were no changes. There was a change to 13, paragraph A and D, because it's linked to the money that we have in the pay proposal, compensation proposal, that's based upon performance.
Yeah, well, in my email, I indicate that, what was that again, 11?
It looks like you've
13.
accepted it.
Yeah, because it makes a reference to, let's take a look at it. I think it makes a reference to that a merit plan will be proposed. And
Yeah,
it's
jump
like-
ahead to 41 for a second. And so in 41, we laid out a 3-year proposal.
Page 41 or-
Article 41, page 67.
And I just remember it being transitional language. This is your new proposal?
65 is.
I think it's pretty much the same.
Yeah.
I don't think anything changed.
So it's the pay increases that other county employees are eligible for, which the Board of County Commissioners discussed, which is 2% plus 2% wage adjustment plus performance-based opportunity. of
We're not in agreement with this. My understanding was there was language in the CBA that pertains to, that if there is a merit-based pay system that was going to be reintroduced, or going to be introduced, and so it was transitional language. Now, what you've changed here, provided here, I don't necessarily.
I don't think it changed anything with respect to 13. 13 was by itself, and it just said, performance evaluation may result in a pay increase as provided in Article 41, and then Article 41 just says that they'll be calculated in the same manner as all other non-bargaining unit employees, which was the same as it was before. Some of the words might have changed, but nothing in the intent or the context or content changed.
So, well, we think the transition has occurred. It's a transition to this hybrid pay system, which is guaranteed money plus performance money.
But that specific, star that you put next to 13 was in reference to the transition language only. Didn't say anything about 41. So your proposal for 13A to strike that third sentence in that paragraph is what I was referencing as being agreeable. It says prior to implementing a performance-based pay system, the county will give notice an opportunity to bargain to the union.
Yeah, because that's what we've been bargaining.
So that's the transitional language I was referencing.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Oh, yeah,
So
well,
you're
but
okay with deleting that?
yeah, well, the reason it's deleted is because it says prior to implementing. The reason it's being deleted is because we've implemented it, so there's no more prior
Okay,
to. So
I get it.
I think you kind of need this, but, I mean,
So we're not agreeing to 40, 42 or whatever one you're
All right,
referencing.
well, let's come back to that then,
okay.
as we go in order here. So, Article 14, page, whatever it is, of course, that one didn't have a number at the top of it. The next page, Article 14, grievance and arbitration procedure. There's modified language in here, and this ties into our position regarding the elimination of past practices, unless they've been merged into the agreement. So we'll make it clear that you can't use past practice as a placeholder to initiate and process agreements. We're under no duty to process agreements that is not based upon the contract, but it's based upon a past practice.
Yeah, and we disagree,
I know.
obviously, with all of that. So as it's indicated in my email, where you put a star on the document that you gave us last time, which was your quote must-have, in reference to splitting the fees of the arbitrator, that is what we're willing to agree to.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to point out that 14A has changed language from what you saw before, but it's to amplify our position.
I didn't see any
On past
section
practice.
numbers on 14, so I don't know if there's So it's the reason why
Yeah, if you go to this, the document I gave you today, as I said, I've reformatted,
okay, well, I've never seen that before today, so I'm just talking about my email that I drafted on the 18th.
it refers to the same section, so I can figure it out. Okay, Article 15, health insurance, so there was an agreement on that, there were no changes to it. The same is true for
16 and 17.
16, holiday, and 17, inactive status, and 18, the layoff, reduction in workforce. It's not shown as agreed to in your status chart, and
You didn't have it as a
it
must-have.
wasn't listed as a must-have, so you haven't responded to it in the email. 19, leave of absence.
Well, I mean, back to 18, I mean, we're just willing to just leave it alone, if it's a thing I'm saying, because I don't think the county necessarily has a proposal on that.
No, we're not proposing any change to the
Right,
language.
so we're just gonna agree to just leave that alone.
So, Is that the same for 19? There was no change to that. Leaves of absence.
Well, I believe at the time, the county had struck through all of the language on leaves of absence because they're gonna be replacing with PTO, and then came back after the fact and said, well, we're gonna need to have the language to remain in there, but, the union is not, interested in accepting the PTO policy, and predicated with everything that's, what we end up with today as your final offer is what's going to be presented.
Okay.
But, I just want to go on record that we don't agree with the PTO.
Right. And then 20, that runs for a number of pages, is the PTO proposal, which was the handout from last time down, pasted into the document. The section deals with other types of leave as well. All the changes that were referenced or intended to be referenced to things like annual leave or sick leave.
I had a
Now it should
question
say
on that, Jim.
PTO.
On that PTO, what happens to the actual sick pool that people donate their hours into?
Let's hold for a second on that till Barbara returns, since she's developed the PTO policy.
Yeah, because that was never,
Okay.
that part
So
wasn't mentioned.
come back to that question as soon as she walks back in. If you go to page 39 of 72, section 7, funeral leave. Look at the definition of extended family. We added the word current before in-laws, and we added niece and nephew, which was not in the previous line. So we expanded the definition of extended family. Okay, there were no
Well, what's
changes.
this, I just want to
Yeah, go ahead.
clarify, I'm just going by memory and I'm looking at it so long, but I believe the current immediate family definition in the career service manual includes people that are living in your household. And that this revised immediate family does not include that.
It just works with the traditional family member definitions.
And it extends the specific references to who's included, but it excludes whoever else is living in the household.
That's right.
So as indicated on the email, we don't agree with that proposal.
Okay. So 20, 21, 22, 23, there were no changes, we kind of agreement on those. Takes us to 24, the past practice language that we provided last time. And again, our intent is to extinguish any past practice claims, because those issues could be included in the collective bargaining agreement, which would provide one focal point for finding out what those practices are, which, by the way, also would provide the right for you to grieve violations of those once they're in the contract.
I'm looking at our chart, so on 817, your proposal was different than what it is now.
Yeah, we've changed our proposal.
Yeah, so we agreed back on 9/1 to the proposal, but now that's no longer TO because the town has changed there.
That's right. Our discussions with you, the bargaining, plus you pursuing past practice grievances that have no language to support them in the collective bargaining agreement required us to change our proposal.
Yeah, that's just basically a misunderstanding anyway, but, what's your position?
Article 25, probationary employees, we have no change to that. To 26, promotions. To 27, reclassification. 28, recognition. 29, relief delivery drivers. 30, return of property. 31, records. 32, safety committee. 33, savings clause. Those we have an agreement on, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
Well,
No
why don't we-
changes. There's no changes, to be clear.
there's no changes in the contract, so we're clearing the status quo. Since Barbara's back, Jim, you want to?
Yeah.
Ask a question?
Yeah.
But back to PTO,
PTO for the question on that PTO, what happens to the sick pool where people donate their 80 hours?
So I think the people donate 40 hours and they get up to 240. So we're two-tiering that. We just wrote, actually, John just drafted a new policy that incorporates the PTO language into that. And we're allowing a second tier so that you can buy in 20. I think you donate 40 right now and get up to 240. Is that correct?
Participants donate 40 hours.
Yeah, and then get up to 240. And
then
so
you-
now
and
we're
then you can
allowing,
petition for
And then
another
there's an extension
240.
on that.
okay, I think if
Yeah,
you're
I think
40,
you can-
it's 240, it'll be 20, it's 120. And then that's the change that we're making, is just simply allowing the people to buy in at a lower level. And then also, as far as the PTO policy goes, we're just gonna say, you can keep 80 hours of your PTO bank and still, tap into the leave pool. So you don't have to deplete all of your PTO, you can leave 80 hours, and then you can access the medical leave pool just like now.
And what about the extension?
Nobody's ever done
Section
that.
5 of that? Well, yeah, it's been done.
Yeah, I've
You can
actually,
petition. You can petition.
You can petition, but I'm not aware of
I've
any.
sat in on the committee that had to approve it.
Okay, I'm not, it hasn't happened since I've been here, I can tell you that.
Well, just.
Because you'd have to give another 40 hours, because if you give 40, you can only get a max of 240. So I don't know if
But
you're
you
talking
don't,
about.
you don't have to give any extra to appeal to the same board that gave you the 240.
Okay.
And that has been denied. And it just.
Yeah, I'm not aware of any that have been that
They,
long.
actually, in insurance, Mary Ann's staff, they didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah, I
It's
was,
in the,
yeah.
if that's your.
yeah, I don't know, I'd have to check with John, we'll have to look at it, I mean,
That's the career service manual right here.
yeah, so, and we're re-rating that, obviously.
Yeah,
but,
well,
thank you very
that's,
much.
that's a big question.
Doug, you were on a committee that did that?
Yes, I did. There was a gentleman that hurt his foot or his ankle. they gave him the 240 hours, and then they sat a committee of like 6 of us. They didn't go into names or anything like that, they just said, we have a gentleman that cannot come back to work right now, because he still has problems with his foot. We want to, vote and see if we can give him another 240. So we took a vote, and they gave him, extended it at 240 hours.
It doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna get 240.
Right, no, I get that, yeah, because you don't even get 240 the first time, and it's whatever the committee decides in terms of
Yeah.
hours. And so, you know, to that extent, you know, we usually will switch to donated time after that, you know, if people want to donate. I'm just not aware of it happening since I've been here. I
When?
mean, we can take a look at it, but I don't,
When I sat in on the committee, we didn't have, there was no donated time yet.
Yeah.
So
We have that
that might
form
affect
also.
something too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is this also, I got a question, will this affect the buyout at Christmas?
Not, well, you can still do your sick
Eight.
leave, 40,
Your 80
or,
hours.
not 80, it's 48.75.
Oh, that's right. Yes,
Yeah,
I'm
and it's
sorry.
going up to 50 with this new policy.
Okay.
So, yeah,
Okay.
it doesn't, you can do either sick leave like you do now, or you can do PTO, or a combination of the two.
And the donation
Yeah,
is gonna remain the same also?
right, yeah. Yep. Except it'll be PTO, but, well, actually, it'll be all three for the time being. Because you can still do, I don't think you can donate medical leave, but you can donate annual leave now. And so it would be annual or PTO. So,
That's the whole deal they don't like,
what's that?
the whole PTO part of it is, they feel they're gonna lose hours.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, I
just-
mean, I disagree, obviously, because,
Well, assume that it's gonna say PTO. Does that answer your questions regarding the donation pool?
Well, it's the whole PTO part of it is,
No, I get that.
is what the employees are worried about, combining the two.
The current PTO that you just gave us, somebody did the math, and those are the hours that they're gonna be losing.
well, they're wrong, I mean, if.
Let's focus on this for just one
Okay,
second.
I'm sorry.
Because we waited to ask this question,
Okay.
to make sure this gets wrapped up. So, just for the sake of argument, let's assume that 51% of your members vote for our contract proposal to shift to PTO, and you change the form language to refer to PTO instead of these categories. Do you have the answer you're looking for with respect to donations and extensions?
Well, I'm not really sure. If they gotta use PTO as combined, it's either annual or sick as PTO time. Right? Eventually, some employees probably would abuse that time. They'd be out of time, you know, that they have left on the books.
Right,
And then if they're in the sick pool, then they'll go back and get 240. Now, that's not sick hours anymore, that would be PTO time also?
well, it depends if they donated, I mean, it wouldn't matter, to be honest with you, because it's, if you donate, you can donate sick, which would be what people would want to do, or you could donate PTO. New employees would only have PTO, so it would be PTO.
But you can't donate sick on this form. This form only covers annual.
No, that's different than the medical leave pool. The medical leave
Yeah.
pool is sick only. And then,
That would
and then
be
now
after
it'd
you
be
ran
PTO.
out of PTO time.
No, you can keep 80 hours in the bank. That's the policy John's writing. So you don't have to exhaust all of your PTO leave in order to use the medical leave pool. The pool is what you buy into. So the
Right.
pool is you're buying into it at 40 hours, you get up to 240. The donation of leave is just you asking other people. That's the emails that we send out every once in a while, and it says, hey, would you like to donate your own leave? That's different. That's annual leave people donate.
Right, but
Um,
the way the PTO time would be,
Right.
you'd have to exhaust all of that before you can get into the sick pool hours.
You still have to do that now. You have to exhaust all of your sick leave
and your vacation time, 'cause that would be PTO.
Well, no, because again, the medical leave pool, we're saying you can leave 80 hours of PTO time in there. So, but in order to receive donated time from anybody, you of course have to exhaust your time. Why would someone donate time to you if you have your own time? That would
Well,
be
it's
silly.
understandable, but, listen, I wouldn't wanna do that,
Yeah.
but,
Maybe I'm misreading where you're going with this, but if this were a standalone issue, is it your position that this benefit should be eliminated?
they just wanna keep it the way it is, they don't wanna combine PTO with
Well,
their,
the
Yeah,
initial
the only-
question was, is how does the PTO work with respect to the donation pool? I think you've answered that.
Yeah, it works, it's actually, we're enhancing the ability for people to buy in because you can buy in at a lower amount. So instead of only being able to buy in at 40, you can now buy in at 20 or 40. So we're kind of extending it a little bit. But then you can access the pool and you don't have to burn all your time. You can keep 80 hours of the PTO time. So it works well. As far as the comment about people losing time, you don't unless you're using all 12 sick days. If you use 12 sick days during the year, you are going to lose 3 days or 4 days. I mean, there's no question, and that's consistent with your chart. But most people, 85% of our employees don't use any more than, it's actually less than 9 days. So 85% of the people are going to benefit from this because they'll have 9 extra vacation days that they can schedule. Plus all of PTO time when you leave, if you retire, gets paid out at 100%. Where sick leave only gets paid out at 25%. So there's a tremendous benefit if you're not a person who earns it and burns it as far as sick. But 10% of our employees are going to hate it. I mean, because they're using all their sick time. But that's what we're trying to cut down on. I mean, to be very blunt with you. So, yeah, I mean.
I know where you're going with that.
Right, I mean, it's just,
I kind of agree with that.
Well, and to be honest with you, it's much more difficult to plan around sick leave abuse because there's a lot of people out there that go, oh, I got 12 sick days. Those are my days. As soon as I get one, I burn it, right? And so the problem is that those people impact their crews, if they're out in the field, if the bus driver, because if somebody calls out sick, that's more difficult to plan around than plan to leave. Yeah, absolutely.
Overtime again.
Well, and it's an overtime event, and
It's
so,
doled out by seniority, that question might change that.
no, it is, there's seniority attached to the PTO in that you earn more PTO hours the longer you've been here, so.
No, I'm talking about the awarding of the overtime.
That still will be the wheel. I mean, that's still, like it is in almost every other department.
Not real now.
Only
Wow.
one department is not, just transportation, which we're fixing to change, exactly.
Okay, let me pick up where I left off. So, I think we made it to 34. Seniority, that's open on your chart.
Well, let me ask you a question, Jim, might just save some time.
Well, we got a
This-
couple
this
pages
is-
to go.
Sorry?
It's only a few pages to go.
Well, this is your proposal, right? This is what you guys are proposing as your final offer as to what's going to be acceptable, right? For the county? And that's what we're looking for, that's what we're here to get to. This document that you gave us is your proposal.
Well, let me state it differently. This is the document we're prepared to TA every page of today. All right?
Well-
We never characterized it as our last and final offer,
Well, when will
because
you-
we asterisked those issues that were most important to us. That didn't mean that they were the only issues that are important to us. Those were the ones we asked you to focus on that we think you could expect no movement on.
Well,
from
what I
us.
remember is that we presented a package deal. You caucused, you came back with this document with little stars next to certain sections of it and saying, now, these are the sections that we have to have.
Yeah.
We have to have these sections in there. And the understanding was if we would agree to those sections being in there, then we would have an agreement. And that's what my understanding was. And of course, we said, well, we're not interested in doing that, so we ended the meeting.
Well,
That's-
As I said, this is the document we're prepared to.
Okay, well, what we're looking for and asking for today as a committee is for what is the best proposal that you can give to us to vote. That's what we came in with. I think I made it pretty clear. So I'm asking you, is that what this document is?
We're prepared to TA on that document.
Okay, is there anything in here that can be improved as far as what you're willing to agree to? You know what the union's positions are, you know what the union's proposals that we're given to, we've been talking about them ad nauseam for months. I mean, you know what we're looking for. Is there anything in this document that you're willing to change before we submit this for ratification? Or is this the best deal that you can provide?
This is our best deal today.
Okay. Then I guess we'll call this.
Okay. Taking a break at 10:35.
Do you want that back? I think this was based on the old numbers, just so that you know. The new numbers don't quite add up that way.
Got a quick question for you and you. Got a phone call from Jesse this morning. He's out of time, he extended the time until January 31st. Is there anything he can do about health insurance? I mean, what does he have to go on Obamacare then if he doesn't get approved for, Social Security disability?
Doesn't he have long-term, I thought he had long-term disability.
Yeah, he has long-term disability through that. And then for health insurance, he can continue, he can do the COBRA through us.
Yeah, well, being out on disability, he can't afford the COBRA.
Yeah, then probably,
Obamacare until he's approved for a permanent disability.
yeah, he should
Okay.
be real
Have you
close.
applied or is it on this?
He's going to talk to, he's already talked to the attorney about permanent SSI, so,
Yeah.
thank you.
Is it the wage article?
Be right back. Be right back.